Welcome to the Microsoft Tips Showcase, where we provide quick, single-topic videos on how to do something within a Microsoft 365 related tool, such as SharePoint, Dynamics, Office, etc. SharePoint lists and libraries have forms that allow you to enter metadata properties that further define an item or a file. In this training session, you will learn how to reorder columns within the new and edit forms in a SharePoint list. The following steps assume we're beginning from within a Microsoft 365 SharePoint site, team site, or something similar that contains lists and libraries. Let's get started. We'll open up a SharePoint site here. Next, let's click on the list called Metadata Demo in the Quick Launch menu here on the left-hand side of the page. Now let's take a quick look at the existing forms that are on here, and I'm just going to do that by clicking on the plus sign next to the new. And you'll notice that the form comes up, and I'm going to show you in a second. This is a new look and feel, so it might be kind of different for you. But you'll notice the form comes up and we'll see the fields that are in here. I'd like to move the fiscal year higher and the supervisor higher because I think they're more important to have filled out. So that's what I want to change in the column reordering. I'll cancel this right now and come back here. And let's go ahead and we're going to change the order of the columns, and first we'll open the list settings by going to the gear icon in the top right hand corner here, and we're going to open the menu and choose the list settings item. Now I recognize that looks a little different to you, so I'm going to go back to the list here, and from here what you're looking at and what we just saw was the modern look and feel in SharePoint, but you might be looking at the classic view. And so down here in the bottom right hand corner, I can kind of scroll up, you might see the return to classic. I'm going to click on that, and when I come in, this might look more familiar to you. This is the classic SharePoint look and feel. It's the same list, it just looks different. So let's go ahead and go to list settings by going to the list tab up here on the left hand side. We'll open up the list ribbon and come across to the right into the settings command group, and here we'll select list settings. So that looks familiar, and that's where we were at a few seconds ago. From here, we're going to scroll down below columns, and we're going to find column ordering right here. It's a link. You can click on it. And as you can see, we can now choose the position from the top of the form each one of the fields should be in. So let's go ahead and make some changes and go back and see what the form looks like in a second. So I mentioned fiscal year. That's down here. And I'd like that to be in the top position, so I'm going to say number 1, and it just immediately raised it up to the top. And then supervisor, I think that's important, and I want it to be right below the employee name. So I'm going to choose position 3 there, and you saw that reordered. And that's what I was looking for. And actually, as long as we're at it, color is not as important as department, so let's go ahead and drop that down to position 7. That's all we had to do, so we'll press OK. Come back, and I'm going to go back to the list by clicking on the metadata demo. That's the list name in the breadcrumbs on the top left hand side. When I come back, here's my list again, and I'm going to click on the new item. Now when you look at it, you'll notice that the fiscal year is at the top, and then the supervisor is in the 3rd position, and down here at the bottom is the favorite color. And go ahead and just hit cancel there. Take us back to our home page. Changing the order of columns is an easy way to ensure that most important metadata for your list is at the top of the form, and that's really going to make it more likely to be filled out by the users. That concludes the lesson. I hope you found this tip useful as you continue to use Microsoft 365 in support of your day-to-day job. Please provide me with feedback in the comments, including suggestions for tips you'd like to see. If you found this tip helpful, please share it with others on one of the social media platforms, or just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'm your host, Neil McDonald with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join us again for other tips.